Frank, just first wanted to ask you about LeBron's energy. And, you praised it after the back-to-back in OKC and tonight, and how much of you thought that rubbed off and how much he led that.
Yeah, he was spectacular again. He's exemplifying, to find the right words, finding joy through hustle, and how it's really fun to pour it all out there on the floor and inspire your group. The effort that he's playing with is inspiring our whole group. And our team is playing extremely hard and defending and running the floor. And, we're making strides with playing extra pass basketball. We're still not quite where we need to be yet. But, Bron's leading the charge in all those things. And, he was terrific again tonight.
Frank, that aside, or maybe including that, what about that third quarter was especially working on defense?
Yeah, we got stops. Like we started the game really well defensively, and and then the third quarter as well, just really being locked into our coverages. Making all the pass blocks, deflections, low man help, really competing on the ball. I think Avery set a great tone for us, and I thought Talen and Austin were also really good, just dogging the basketball and keeping our own man in front of them. And if you keep your own guy in front of you and force them into forced possessions, you got a chance to get stops and get out on the break.
Frank, LeBron has scored, I think, 30 points in 6 of his last 8, and tonight, as you mentioned, just making a great defensive effort as well. Do those two-way games, obviously LeBron has played a lot of great games in his career, but at this point, 19th season, do some of those two-way masterpieces, so to speak, feel like a limited resource that, like, maybe even in the regular season you only get so many?
Nah, nothing feels like it's limited resources with him. It's just the way he plays. That's who we have to be. That's Laker basketball. It doesn't matter who our opponent is, what their record is, what the situation is. We want to play harder than our opponent. That's how we've been the last couple of years, and it hasn't always been there for us this year. And I think our guys recognize that, and they're trying to play at that championship level. And try to build those championship habits in regular season games. So, he's setting a great tone for us in that regard.
Along those same lines, Frank, I think you said something earlier in the year about how you guys weren't doing the dirty work instinctively or something to that effect, and that was something that you kind of had to make a more concerted effort to get guys to do. Does seeing LeBron bring that kind of defensive energy give you some hope that can become part of your identity and sort of have that sort of trickle-down effect on everyone else?
Absolutely. Although I don't think I've ever felt like I was concerned or needed hope that we were going to get there or that we are going to get there. We still have a long way to go to build the consistency we're looking for. But, you got a bunch of new guys that coming into your culture. It takes time to get them, up to speed with how we do everything. You know what I mean? From everything down to coverages to spacing concepts. But the effort piece, and it's easy to just say, hey, you guys are not playing hard enough, but, the reality is you have to be direct and precise in terms of exactly what you're talking about. You guys are not running the floor hard enough. You're not sprinting back in transition hard enough. You're not crashing the glass hard enough. You're not screening and getting out of screens fast enough. You're not cutting. Just all these things that, just fall in the bucket of effort and playing harder than your opponent. Like, you got to be precise with those things. You got to coach those things hard, and that's what we're doing with our group. And, we're making progress, still an imperfect game, but, you're asking about Bron's leading the charge and all that stuff.
Frank, LeBron said the key to him having the energy he had today, coming off the road back-to-back and then a trip to Phoenix to see his son play on Saturday, was sleep. Have you done anything in terms of scheduling with this team, whether it be staying the night after a game more often or not having any sort of morning shoot-arounds or activities in order to accommodate his sleep and sleep for anyone else on the team?
Not specifically for him, but we do as a group over the last couple of years have gotten almost entirely away from morning shoot-arounds. I have just found they're all willing. You talk to them, you talk to the captains, and we can do it in the morning, or we're gonna have the Staples walk through in the afternoon, and they're good with either way. But I personally have found that, when we give them the morning off, we typically have more juice. You know what I mean? And, there's still a time, where, sometimes you coming off an off day. This is a situation where sometimes coming off an off day, it's good to get guys in and just, get that off day behind them. You make those calls as we go. But, typically when we're not having shoot around in the morning, we have better energy at night, with this group the last couple of years and so far this year.
Frank, over here. Over the first 8 games of his season, LeBron only scored 30 points twice, and over the last 8, he's hit that mark 6 times now. What has been the biggest difference you've seen from him from a scoring standpoint, and maybe his comfortability playing alongside Russ and kind of just figuring out when to attack versus when to kind of seed the ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. I think we're playing a lot more bigger lineups early in the season, which can be more imposing defensively, but there's less space offensively to go to work and to attack the basket. And I think that's one of the adjustments we've made. We played with more space, either with only one big or no bigs, for a lot of stretches of these games. And it's just opened up the lane for him and for Russ and for all of our guys. And it's a stylistic change offensively. It just doesn't happen automatically. You gotta put guys in certain spots and know when we're gonna cut. Because 5 on the perimeter doesn't always give you the great space to attack the basket. So there's an adjustment period with all that. But and other than that, Bron's just getting his legs under him and finding a rhythm.
Frank, I think this is 6 starts in a row now for Talen, and I'm curious, kind of, was tonight sort of the prototypical stuff in terms of impacting the game defensively with his length, being the kind of three-point shooter that I think you guys sort of, maybe not 50%, but kind of expect him to be? Was this sort of a prototypical performance, like we think this is what we have on a regular basis?
I think so. Yeah. He's really coming along. We're trying to bring him some consistency. When he had first come back, I don't think we were whole, and then we started playing with Bron, and I think Bron had come back at that point, and then it was Russ and Bron, and he had a couple games trying to find his rhythm. But the way he's defending right now, the way he's shooting to catch and shoot threes, and the way he's always a threat, to knife through the defense and get a layup or a paint to great. Those are attributes that we did see in him. And why we invested in him and the role that we feel like we have for him.
Last question,
Jordan on Zoom.
I can hear. Sorry. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about Carmelo. Getting the ball in the spots, in the mid post, and then also knocking down the three. He had a really good game tonight. Just wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I love coaching Carmelo. He's just steady. Does his job. He's low maintenance. Does what we ask him to do. Really competes on the defensive side of the ball, which is what everybody said that that wasn't his strength. He's really locked into his coverages and give him maximum effort. And he's a professional shooter. I mean, he's just a big-time shooter. The ball finds him. You feel like it's going in every time he shoots it, And then obviously he's one of our, if not, our most savvy post players. One of our most savvy post players. He's got the finishing ability and he's got all the shot fakes. He knows how to seal. Really giving us a big lift. He's been a real positive for us this year.